Hey everyone, welcome back to another gameplay video. This is another game with my brother and I. We got in this week. We're playing Cooler, New Blue Cooler versus New Black Goku Black. We've each gotten a little more um, experience with these decks under our belts. Feeling really good. Love playing them. We finally have kind of like all our shiny cards and the cards, obviously the real physical cards now. The set's been released and we're able to get what we need. So feeling really good. Love these decks. And we got a really good game here for you guys. It was a ton of fun to play. It was really close. There were like several mistakes. I definitely had one earlier where it seems to be a thread or I don't know, a theme with me, excuse me, that I'm making like these early super dumb mistakes. Like it literally looks like I'm throwing and I don't know what's going on, but it happened. So I'm not gonna like spoil everything for you guys. Let's go ahead and just kind of check out the game. I'm gonna do this in. We're gonna start with 1.25. This is a 38-minute video without the speed up, so hopefully we are able to obviously go a little bit faster. I go first here. I charge loyalty to Cooler because I end up having two in my hand. I go get time to die. And then we luckily opened an A, so it's top 5 for a blue extra with a cost of 0, Cooler card or Armored Squadron card. So I end up grabbing a super combo base. I had a pretty good hand to open this game. So when I saw a grabbable super combo on the first search of the game, I just told myself like this is going to come in handy at some point. I'm going to be glad I picked it. So that's what we got. We passed it over to my brother, and he's doing his basic stuff as well, charging a unison, doing his searches with his leader, plays out the Gowasu. He said that he didn't play the Gowasu in this previous build. He's got that now here, and I thought this was a great idea because it just, turn one plays are good. Like, charging and not playing something doesn't feel good. And then, like earlier, he was always playing a unison immediately. And that's like a straight neg, right? Unless you do play it from your warp. But you normally don't do that because you want to save those in your warp for either defense or for empowering. So a turn one play that does replace itself is great. So I thought this was a good idea for him to do it. And so here we go. Swing with lead. I do not care. Of course, you take those early hits. Pass back over to me. Draw. Now, I think I had plenty of fives this game. Last game, I think I played with Cooler. I was really struggling to hit these fives. So I think I started out pretty well, but I'm sitting here trying to think of what five matters most. I think I charged the concept rare, and then I go, no, what am I doing? I literally have to do the fives. So that is apparently still something I'm getting used to. So we do the nays 5 here in the energy. This is the blocker that gains barrier for the turn cycle. And we're just going to start swinging. So here we are. Swing. I'm explaining something to him. There are just moments of us talking, which is why obviously we are speeding this up so you guys can kind of avoid that. I draw. No negates obviously for him, and he takes. And then I throw down loyalty to Cooler because this is one of the best plays you can if you're going first because you cannot swap until your opponent has to. So to give my Nays barrier, knowing that he doesn't have barrier removal that early in his deck, and then it also allows me to get my alternate awakening because it's just playing a blue extra, right? So this is just a really strong play unless you, like, this is probably your best turn 2 going first lineup. If you are turn 2 going second and you need to get rid of something your opponent played on their turn 2 going first, then you probably play time to die and you can go into your removal stuff because swap is online at that point. So here I've got honestly nothing to do. I don't want to play Peel Off Trio to draw because I want him to get rid of indestructibles and double strikes and stuff. I know he's going to hit me with later. So I end up just not playing anything besides the extra and awakening, and I leave 2 up. I know he's going to start poking me. With 3 energy up, I know he's going to have some things to do. And I want to, like, in this matchup, save my hard negates for all his big doubles, for his secret rare, obviously, and the other generic good black stuff that usually comes with the word double strike. So I am mainly just trying to save these hard negates and combo out of most stuff. So he realizes that the right way to do this for this specific unison is activate battle speed. So when you play it, you can buff something by, I believe it's 10 for the turn. So I think his leader is a 20k swing here. And then his leader, or the unison that he does play, is a 15k. I'm not comboing out of a 20k swing into my leader. This early, I can take it down to 5. So he uses, I believe, I think he's awakening. No, he uses the leader effect to mill 2. He does end up flipping So draw 2, pick down to 6. He's already at 5, doesn't matter. So I'm staring at a 15k swing from the unison. No, excuse me, he's a restand 1, draw 1. Because obviously he did tap energy and now he's untapped. So we're going to go 15 here. He's threatening the SR Goku Rose unison that can become a 20 crit. In my head, I'm sitting here going, like, I knew he was probably going to poke me quite a bit. So I felt really good about my energy being restood. But here I end up playing the barrier blocker because I don't want to have to combo out of everything and, like, lower my hand size. So even though I didn't, like, spend the energy of the nays on my previous turn, I still end up playing it and getting him out there because I'm going to end up knowing that he's probably going to block, like, a 20 crit, right? So I end up comboing a concept rare as well to get out of the 15 attack. Yep, and here's the SR that goes at 20 crit. So I do feel really good about the sequence here for me. I've got 2 bodies on board. They're both barrier, and I know he can't get rid of them. But again, the nays is essentially a chump blocker because I'm not taking 2 crits, because what he can also do here is, like, it's not limit 1 to play this Goku Black SR. So I eat this one, and then I'm pretty sure he ends up playing a second one. No, okay. So that's all he was going to do that turn, because on this turn is when I can start swapping. So it was smart of him to leave at least 1 energy up plus his marker, because I'm going to start doing stuff. And so the weird thing is I didn't read this Gowasu, but he told me that the Gowasu had an effect on its own, that if I were to get rid of it with a skill, I warp a card from hand. And so that's like what I played around. I just simply didn't get rid of this Gowasu because that's what he told me it was. Later in the game, you'll see that the Gowasu chooses a Zamasu with an activate main and then gives it the ability, if this were to be removed by skills, your opponent warps a card from hand. So we played this wrong. I did not read his card. I've never played this card personally, so I didn't know. So you'll just see this Gowasu stick there and me, like, think way too hard about how to play around it, or simply, like, play cards that have removal, and I don't remove the Gowasu again because I don't want to lose a card in hand. So here's me playing this Cooler that should have got rid of this Gowasu. In hindsight, you know, if that was the case, I'd play Time to Die and then Cooler, and then we're kind of going from there. So I don't warp anything. I draw 2, discard 1 to get this Cooler on board, and then I have a nays in drop, so I know at the end of this turn I'm going to start fixing my energy with the Cooler, right, placing the 5 nays into my energy, and then placing one of my energy that's not a 5 or a card I want in there into my Z energy. And then since my opponent, my brother, has 2 energy, I'm able to start swapping. So we activate swap, I pitch a card to play out something. And here I think I'm like, no, I need to tap I always tap the 5 because you want to play the card that you tap, because you don't want to lose that energy since the replacement's in rest mode. So I'm like, you don't want to be dumb, you got to play it smart, so you always tap the 5, which I do here. So I tap the Salsa for the Cooler, and then with the swap effect I play out the Salsa, and this is the dual attack 15k that draws and then buffs something by 5k. I give him 5k the majority of the time, so he's 2 20 swings instead of 2 15s. And I'm sitting here going, my brother loves to play Protector of the People. So I am kind of trying to figure out, well, Protector doesn't stop leader swings, and so I'm going to have him eat. So this was the throw. This was the massive throw. So I'm expecting Protector. In no world did I think that this Supreme Kai was coming down. It just seemed too early. I understand, like, you just need 3 in the warp or something like that to use it. And so he throws it down. He gets rid of my Cooler. It should have gone to the warp. So I'm, like, slightly tilted here. This is so dumb, and obviously we played this wrong. This is like 9 a.m. in the morning. We needed to get it done before my brother had to go to work. So there are some mistakes. This Cooler should have went to warp. And then I'm now realizing that Cooler never came back because the Supreme Kai plays it again at the end of the turn with its skills negated. I've played that Kai. I should have known better, but I'm, like, pissed that I just walked right into it and I lost this 25k swing, all because I didn't also send this loyalty to Cooler back to my hand and then put it on the Cooler. I normally always do that because the Cooler needs to have barrier. So I'm so dumb. Apologies. Hell, I'll put up gameplay without a mistake at some point, but this unfortunately is not one of those games. So I end up swinging leader for 15, and he combos the Supreme Kai to get out of it. Okay, so I give Salza the second 20 to again continue trying to poke. So yeah, I'm so dumb. So the thing is, the cooler would have came back, and because it's my turn, first, my autos proc, and since he's not what is it, played yet or have his skills again, it just doesn't matter. But I'm so dumb. Like cooler should have come back, and yeah, or he just simply should have never been warped in the first place, or even left the battlefield because I shouldn't be that dumb. So we continue on. My brother's up to 3 energy and a marker. I have 2 up again because after like failing to get as much value out of the turn as I would have liked, I decided to play it safe because again I know how much he can poke, and at this point I'm like, that SCR, man, if he has it, he's gonna windmill that thing down. So 2 energy up, and I'm thinking how I'm gonna do this with, you know, if he's gonna 15 to 20 poke me, how important is Senzu being? I'm trying to figure out which swing I'm gonna use, like the D magic in my hand, or if I'm gonna continue to save it specifically for a big double or the SCR crit. So he starts his turn with the 20 crit leader, or on the unison. So at this point I'm like, I don't want to waste this, because like if I swap loyalty to cooler back, put it back down to give Salza barrier, then that procs my leader effect, and I would have to play the Salza for my energy. But if I do that, then it just sets it up to be immediately removed by my opponent's leader on this attack, which he just did, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I make sure the Salza has barrier, so he can't remove it. He swings with his leader. This is just a 15k swing, and I took the crit because again I didn't want to deal with it. Now here I am thinking about peel off Shumai just to like get the draw and then combo it off for the to get out of the 15k. But then I'm like, no, because timing wise, like he'd be able to warp the peel off trio. So I'm like, son of a bitch. And then this is me saying I have to, like, I mean, essentially, I'm rewinding because I needed to play this salsa. I just simply had to. I'm confusing myself here. I went back and did this for a reason. And I'm so confused. Why wouldn't he have warped my salsa? That's so strange. I'm so sorry. What a wild, crazy. I thought we were much cleaner than this. Anyway, he comes down with the crit SR again. I remember this moment. I said I brought loyalty back there instead of earlier, and put it on the other Salsa that's active, making him have to attack into the rest mode one. He can't just pop my one in active mode. So he plays the crit SR, and then he plays the indestructible over here, the 7 cost Samasu. So again, he pluses on it, becomes a 20k crit. I'm not trying to take a 20k crit, but I did take the previous crit to go down to 4, knowing that I just like want to get to 4 to use these super combos. So I used the third on the super combo that I searched for earlier in the game. Of course, came in handy like I thought it would. So we get out of the attack, 25 over 20, and I draw. At this point, yeah, this is just a 25k swing, and I don't want to like use a hard negate. Maybe I do. No, this is where, okay. So we use Height of Power here to be played because I got the 2 or more Z energy. On play, I get the draw, and then I can bean one of my cards for the turn. So I end up using the bean on the leader, which gets me to a 20 leader against his 25. And then I want to say I throw down a Vegeta super combo to go 30 over his 25. I think I'm just doing some math in my head. Still getting used to blue as I guess a color in general, because I know it's got good defenses, 17, Dimension Magic, whatever. But I'm still getting I'm trying to get good at the best times to use all these things depending on the matchup. So I end up comboing a, I guess the Zamazu's only a 20 because I end up going 20 on my leader, and then just flip the A-cost cooler to 25. So that seems to be the case. It's that or the second Salsa I played. No, I did play it defensively, never mind. So I beamed my leader with the Salsa, the second Salsa, and then I beamed my leader with Height of Power. So it was 25 to 25, and I gave him the 8 cost cooler. So I'm going 30 over his 25. That's the correct there. Apologies. And then he passed with, again, he's got 1 energy up in the marker. He's at 5. Poking me too much. I'm trying to think of how I can remove his bodies. Peel off Shumai. I cannot remove Indestructible offensively. So I'm sitting here trying to think, like, just what am I going to do here? I play Nays. Let's get some value. Maybe start swapping as well. I've got 2 15k dual attackers, one with barrier. I've got another 15k that when it attacks, it gains +5 and removes a card. It sends it back to hand. So when I use Time to Die here in a moment, that Goku and Vegeta helps me remove the Gowasu, because I believe that's when we realize that it doesn't have that skill inherently. It gives something to a Zamasu, so I believe I do get rid of it here shortly. I'm going to put this up to 1.5. Just cruise along here. I remember thinking a little bit more than I want to, but after throwing earlier and just kind of being like thrown off a little bit about my game plan, I definitely took some more time. So we start with one of the 15 swings because, again, expecting Protector, and he throws that down. I never want to start with the leader because the leader doesn't proc the Protector buff. So use one of the Salsa attacks, put it back in active. I ask how much combo power he has. He's got 25k worth of unisons in his warp. I go, okay, cool. Now I need to essentially sequence my attacks here to force him to either take the damage or use the resources out of his warp. So I'm thinking, damn, I really am thinking. Even at 1.5 speed, I'm not going fast. We're talking about something. What am I doing? Leader. Okay, so leader first. Nope, apparently not. Come on, Michael. Decide. Time to die. Yes. Okay, so I think that was when we talked about the Gowasu and what it doesn't do. So here we go. So cooler, slam it down. Now that I know that it can remove something, we bottom deck Gowasu. Draw 2. Pitch 1. And then this is where I start sequencing correctly for getting the most through Protector of the People. So at the 15 here, since leader doesn't proc the buff, I'm going to swing leader first. So we go 15. He doesn't have Gowasu anymore to get out of it for free. So I'm going to force him to give me one of those 5 unisons in his thing. Whatever. So he gives me a card out of hand. It's the Black SGR. Yep. And then, so the next attack is going to be at 20. And so I believe I either... Yep, swing here. So this goes to 20. And I have nothing to bottom deck. But it gets a free 5 for its own effect. And it's just 20 matching into his 20 now. So he gives me 1 unison. Okay. 4 left in his warp. And then now that he's going to go up to 25, I match the 25 here with my cooler. Give me another card from hand, or he gives me unison at a drop. And then if he takes a life, still, all those are going to be wins. Yep, takes the unison. So he's got 3 left in his warp. I swap into a Naze to draw, and this gets a blocker on top of its barrier. This is me just trying to set up defenses for next turn, so I still have 2 up. I've got a barrier blocker. So if he wants to use one of his barrier removals, which is the 7-cost Zamasu SR, he's probably going to choose my cooler with barrier, right? That's the most proper target. But I put the blocker out there, again, to stop one of his biggest attacks next turn. Here, knowing that I have D-Magic in hand and the Senzu Bean, I can tap out here and feel pretty good defensively that he's not going to kill me next turn. And this, again, is going over the Protector of the People. So I play the Broly SR here. It's a 35. This first one's a single. So this next attack is 35 into a 30. I feel good about that. He's going to give me 2 cards, 2 unisons, or a super combo. So here, 2 unisons. He's down to 1 in his warp. Cool. I use the effect to restand it. Swing again. Now I'm 35 into his base 35 leader, and with double strike, but instead of just taking the double from 5 to 3, he does give me a token, so I do get to take a life. I'm fine with that. But this is the end of my turn, so he doesn't get to use the token to block anything. I think I look at my drop to see what I've got going on, because I'm going to, yep, with the cooler, naze into energy, put the extra into Z energy, and then now I'm sitting with a naze I can potentially play. So another barrier blocker, right? I'm tapped out. I've got one barrier blocker, and I got a barrier blocker in my energy that I can also play for free if I decide to do some of the take back shenanigans with the leader. And then I'm sitting on Dimension Magic waiting for his, SCR to come down. I'm beamed up for his smaller unisons if he wants to poke me at all, or I can be beamed up. I just feel good here. So he starts with a unison. This is 20 crit. And I'm like, I'm not taking crits. Like if I'm don't want to take cards out of my hand and I'm going to smartly take some damage, I am going to do that. So I tell him here, you don't need to come with a token. Like, it's still 5k. Use it on a better attack because you're going to kill this naze anyway. Like, I'd be dumb to try and save it. So I'm asking something. I don't quite recall. Yeah, because it's 20 into 15. Maybe we're talking about the token still. I'm not entirely sure. But this thing is dead. Come on now. Put in the drop. There. Oh. Oh. There we go. Okay. So 3 for this. Okay, I know what I was doing. I was taking a card back. I was like, I was going to save one of the salsas. So you see me put it in my hand, and I go, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm not going to be an idiot. If I know you're threatening the Zamasu unison here, which is the board wipe, because you have to answer my board, right? He doesn't have any other board wipe. I can't be dumb, and so I say, yes, I would have taken that salsa back with the effect, which then would have played out this naze, but because it has barrier, the board still remains the same as if, he still played the Zamasu the way he did. So we're all good. That's just me going, like, I can't throw this many times in a game. I'm obviously off my rocker here in this early matchup. And we don't practice. There's a famous quote that's like from a football coach that said, if Peyton Manning goes down, we're fucked, and we don't practice fucked. So I don't practice fucking up, and we need to practice not doing that. So that is why you see all this taking place. Okay, so this is me double checking that his unison doesn't proc to give something 5 and double on anything but the unison swing or one of my swings defensively. So just making sure that this is a 15k base swing coming in. He doesn't get to warp anything because I've got 2 barrier cards. And he makes it 20. Very good. Just doing some math because like none of this stuff is what I want to use the D magic on. I have to save this D magic. So I end up going 25 over his 20 with my first Vegeta super combo. This is my second super combo of the game. So he swings with unison, and on the swing, it's a 20k swing base. He gives the other Zamasu 5 and double, making it a 30 double. So right away, that tells me that is the swing I need to use my D magic on. And this is still a 20 swing. I don't want to use a super combo or 2 cards out of my hands. So I go ahead and take the life. And then actually, no, I had the naze for this double strike. So take the naze. And then he comes down with the other double striker. Yep, of course. So he's really trying to hurt me here. And he just saw me use my barrier blocker on another double strike. So he uses the new Z card. Now, with the Z card, this is what I want to use that Conquest extra on if I had it in hand, because if you don't negate it, you activate battle, throw it down, and replaces your loyalty to Cooler, and then it stops the Zamasu from using its skill to restand, so you don't have to deal with 2 25 doubles. And I didn't have that in hand, unfortunately. So he swings 25 double. Pretty sure this is where I use the D magic. Because he's tapped out, but I know there's a second attack coming. So I restand 2, take the life down to 2. I see an extra card. So I know he's going to throw another double, because if it gets through, which, you know, he shouldn't expect that to, but if it does, he could potentially go for lethal. He takes 3 cards from his drop, puts them in his warp, and then he restands restands and swings again. I have the energy, so I just flat out hard negate with this Salsa. It's recurable. I don't get to search because it's only on my turn if I play it as a cantrip. All right, that ends his turn effectively, and here we go. So I'm realizing the battery in my laptop is getting really short because of all this streaming technology and stuff like that being used, platforms and whatever. So I'm like, okay, we got to go fast. So I charged my 5th energy here with the 5-cost Dore. He's tapped out as black. His only options are token negates and the Gohan rare. So I'm like, I have to 4-0 him, and I actually think I'm going to 4-0 him. Because Cooler can kind of go crazy, and I've got a 25 on board already established. I think here I'm looking at how to best set myself up in case I don't kill him. So I look at the Z deck, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play Android 18. Let's start gaining some value. So I play her, get my dice, wherever that may be, and I immediately +0, which is to my opponent bottom decks a card from their hand, and then I restand energy at the end of the turn. So I don't feel bad tapping 3 here because I know defensively I'll have at least 1 up. Tap 1 for Nays, start some swap shenanigans as well. So that means I can play out a 5 from my hand and one of the 5s from my energy, which if I'm looking at correctly, I have the 5-cost Dore in my energy. I think that's the only 5, though, there. And if I remember correctly, I still have a Salsa in hand. So I've got plenty of gas to do something. I start with Leader Swing. And since I swung with something, the Zamasu Unison on his board buffs his leader to 20 for the turn. So that's good for him. It definitely helps. So I end up comboing the Salsa, to get the 20 on my Leader Swing, and he ends up comboing another SGR. Okay, we're going to swap. So I pitch a card to play out Salsa. So I will draw and buff him, so it sees a 20 duel. And then I'll end up playing the crit Dore here, just knowing that if this attack, if he doesn't have a token negate or anything, then he has to give me a card or some of his resources to not get the life actually critted. Draw off of him, and we start there. Okay, I think I'm just double checking how I want to sequence this. So we go 15. Come on, man. I am faking myself out. 15 crit, finally. And I throw a super on it because, again, I have to kill him. And I feel really good about this. So 25k crit. He either gives me a bunch of resources or he loses a card. Okay. So he gives me 2 unisons, so he goes 30 over my 25k crit. Here's my first 20. So we're just going to continue to poke. He doesn't have a lot of unisons left in his warp. He takes the first 20, and then I swing the second time. And he gives me 1. Very cool. 20 double. Let's get you down to 1, potentially. And, okay, so he decides to not take the double or use any other resources. He uses the Gohan rare, which he has to take a life still, but he does stop the double. Anyway, now here's a singular 25. And I combo to 5 to get it to 30, so he has to use more resources and or a super combo plus something else. He has almost no cards in hand, so once he took that life, I said, all right, this is going to be sick. So he's still base 20. I end up tapping out to play another Cooler. So it's draw 2, discard 1. I'm able to filter, get more comboable cards, and go for game here because I know he's got, I think, 3 cards in hand at this point, or just a handful of them, and then almost no unisons in his warp. So we swing 25. I combo to 30, 35, 40. I want to say 45, and I go, cool. And believe it or not, he goes 25, 30, and then bricks 35 with the unison from the warp. So yeah, bricked super hard. And then at this point, I end up showing him that, like, yeah, if I didn't kill you this turn, I just baby hatch, and that's the game. Because then he has to pass back over to me, and I just swing, and he's got absolutely no defense. So that was the game. Damn, I felt really good about this one when we played through. I felt very clean with it, except for, like, the early throw. But I guess there were some, some things that I forgot, and we definitely should have resolved differently. Again, I don't think it changes much, but this is testing. This is raw, unedited footage of us testing. And that's why I like rewatching these games and like providing commentary for you guys, because it shows you, I guess, the mindset of when you are able to rewatch your games. You see some of the dumbest things that you do. You see some of the things that should have been done differently. And in that moment, you can kind of correct that mentally and tell yourself you're never going to do it again. And then just go forward as a better player. So this was a ton of fun. I really thought he was going to have me in this one, but we managed to get it through. And in this game specifically, I swapped Beast Gohan out for Hatch, and Hatch very much felt like the right call here. Similar to a Rinsu, where someone survives and then they go, all right, like I'm definitely going to kill him this turn. And then you go, no, you're not, Hatch. And then that's just like the automatic win button for these really aggressive blue decks that can kind of push and use all their resources and get oh so close. Like just need that one more turn, one more swing type thing, and then Hatch provides that for you. So I think I'm gonna keep testing with Hatch as the SCR in this deck. Overall, still an absolute ton of fun. I just apparently need to get more reps in because I've had too many flubs here. So appreciate you guys stopping into another gameplay video. Again, this was against my brother, Phil Plays TCG. Please go like and subscribe his stuff. He puts out mostly content for Fusion World, but he is getting much more into Masters again after previously being the one to get me into Masters back in 2020. And then, of course, like and subscribe if you're liking the content I'm putting out. I'm trying to be super consistent, trying to give you guys stuff that you want, that's engaging, especially stuff that's highlighting the new set, and videos like this where we kind of are able to talk through an entire game start to finish. So appreciate everybody for stopping in, and we'll see you in the next one.